Welcome back to Forgotten Civilizations. In our previous videos, we followed the human journey from the very beginning. We learned how humanity started, how families grew, how people migrated across the earth, and how humans adapted to different climates. Over time, humans learned how to survive in many environments. Eventually, humans reached the point where they no longer needed to move constantly. They began to settle. And when humans settled, something new appeared in history. Civilizations were born. In this video, we will first understand how and where the first civilizations began. And then we will take a deep dive into one civilization to understand how people actually lived. How civilizations began. Civilizations did not begin suddenly. They were the result of slow learning and experience. Humans discovered that growing food was more reliable than hunting every day. Farming allowed people to stay in one place instead of moving constantly. When people stayed in one place, villages formed. Villages slowly grew into towns. Towns grew into cities. As populations increased, people began to organize their lives. Some people farmed. Some built homes. Some protected the community. Some led and made decisions. Rules were created to keep order. Beliefs helped people understand nature, life, and death. Trade connected one group to another. This was the beginning of civilization. Where the first civilizations appeared in places where conditions were perfect for farming. These places were usually near rivers. Rivers provided water for drinking and farming. Floods made the soil fertile. Rivers also allowed people to travel and trade. Because of this, the earliest civilizations appeared in four main regions of the world. In the Middle East, civilization appeared in Mesopotamia, between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. In North Africa, civilization appeared in Egypt, along the Nile River. In South Asia, civilization developed in the Indus Valley, along the Indus River. In East Asia, early civilization formed in China, near the Yellow River. These civilizations were far apart, but they shared similar beginnings. They all relied on rivers, farming, and permanent settlement. Today, we will begin our deep journey with Mesopotamia, often called the first civilization in human history. Mesopotamia, where civilization first took shape. Mesopotamia was a land between two rivers, the Tigris and the Euphrates. The word Mesopotamia itself means land between rivers. These rivers were both a blessing and a danger. They provided water and fertile land, but they also flooded unpredictably. Floods could destroy crops and homes. To survive, people had to work together. They built canals to control water. They stored food for difficult times. Cooperation became necessary. Because people worked together, strong communities formed. Villages slowly became cities. Cities like Ur, Uruk, and Lagash became some of the first urban centers in the world. This cooperation is what turned Mesopotamia into a civilization. Daily life in Mesopotamia. Life in Mesopotamia was busy and structured. Most people were farmers who worked long hours growing crops like barley and wheat. Others became craftsmen, traders, builders, or scribes. Homes were built from mud bricks. Streets were narrow and crowded. Markets were active places where people exchanged goods. Food was simple but nourishing. Bread was common. Vegetables and fruits were eaten regularly. Meat was rare for ordinary people. Families lived close together, and community life was important for survival. Beliefs, laws, and society, religion played a central role in Mesopotamian life. People believed that gods controlled nature, floods, harvests, and human fate. Temples were placed at the center of cities. Society became divided into groups. Leaders and priests held power. Scribes were respected because they could write. Farmers and workers formed the majority of the population. To keep order, laws were created. One of the earliest known law codes in human history came from Mesopotamia. Laws helped settle disputes and maintain stability. Why Mesopotamia changed human history? Many ideas that still shape the modern world began in Mesopotamia. Writing was developed to keep records. Laws were written to control society. Cities became centers of culture, trade, and learning. Mesopotamia showed humanity what organized society could become. What comes next? Today, we learned how civilizations began, where they appeared, and we explored Mesopotamia, the earliest civilization, in detail. In the next video, we will travel to ancient Egypt. We will explore how civilization formed along the Nile River and how people lived in one of the most fascinating societies in history. Subscribe to Forgotten Civilizations to continue this journey through human history. This is just the beginning.